Trump today expressed a kind of annoyance, a kind of irritation, and he said they are both violating the ceasefire. We're talking, of course, about the ceasefire that Trump announced just hours earlier in a massive surprise and, in fact, a massive win for him, which is, guess what? I pummeled these guys, I blew up their nuclear facilities, and now we've all kind of come to the table. We've all agreed to a treaty. Trump, for a while there, the left was salivating because they're like, Iran is really going to strike back. They're obliged to strike back. They're a revolutionary regime. And then Trump revealed, and this is really a humiliation for Iran, Trump's like, psst, 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 guess what? The Iranians called me beforehand and told me when and where they're going to strike so we could kind of basically move personnel out of there. The strike was basically, Trump even literally likened it to they were like blowing off steam. But I don't think they were blowing off steam so much as they wanted propaganda for the home audience. Like, listen, we're really going to teach them a lesson. But the Iranians realized we can't teach them a real lesson because if we kill any Americans, it's going to be hell to pay. And we don't want that to happen because then essentially they'll start leveling Tehran. They'll start leveling these other cities and Shiraz and so on. And so the Iranians have essentially decided to play nice doggy. But the ceasefire was apparently violated. Now, again, the kind of pundits who have, I think, a very poor comprehension of all this stuff are like, look, it's all breaking down again. And of course, you can see the wishful thinking on the part of the media. They're hoping it all breaks down because they would love to see things disintegrate. In fact, they were hoping there wouldn't be a ceasefire. You know, you could just see on CNN and MSNBC, the hosts were like, well, Iran hasn't agreed to a ceasefire. And then their correspondent comes on and goes, well, actually, Iran has agreed. And you can see the disappointment on the face of these CNN hosts, like, oh, really? We were really hoping. So now, my view, the ceasefire, a complete and unimportant sideshow. Quite honestly, no one cares. Even Trump is, I think, pretending to care. And Trump does care because Trump basically wants to make it look like he's running everything and he's micromanaging and I got them all where I want them. And so there's a little bit of pride here. But the point I'm trying to make is the ceasefire is unimportant. Why? Because the really important thing is the degradation, the debilitation, the destruction of Iran's nuclear facilities. And to the degree that that's done, mission accomplished. Now, there are like 20 different ways to violate a ceasefire, right? What happens is the ceasefire is supposed to go into effect at 12 a.m. midnight. But of course, there are time differences. And so Iran can go, well, it's 12 a.m. over there, but not over here. And Iran goes, why don't we just fire them some rockets at the last minute? And Israel goes, well, you just killed a bunch of Israelis. We have to respond. We can't let this go. And so what you have is, it's kind of like two guys. You've pulled them apart. They're fighting. But the moment that you slightly let go, they start punching each other again. And I think Trump's view of this should be to step back and essentially say that the goal of this expedition has been achieved. Whether Israel and Iran exchange some further punches is kind of up to them. Trump gave a really good view, though, of where he wants all this to go. And that is, he said, really just an hour or so ago, he said Iran needs to stop being a kind of a war nation, and it needs to start becoming a great trading nation. And right here you see, I think, how Trump views the world. Trump views the world as peaceful nations that are producing stuff, entrepreneurship, innovation, making people's lives better, and trading with each other, admittedly on fair and even terms, on what Trump would call the level playing field. But this is how you get mutual prosperity, right? You make something, you make semiconductors, Taiwan does, America needs semiconductors, we buy them from Taiwan. But the Taiwanese need stuff that we have to sell, so they open our markets to our products. And so Trump's point is Iran, admittedly, if you look at history, Iran became historically rich and powerful, both through trade and through conquest. And I don't just mean Islam, I would go further back, Cyrus the Great, the Persian Empire. So the Iranians are used to doing it both ways. And what Trump is saying is stop doing it one way, try to do it the other way. You have historical experience with both. Even under Islam, there were great trading empires, and the Muslims are very good traders. They're very good traders. I saw them function like this in India, and Trump is like, go back to doing that. And by the way, the same is true of Israel. Look at the India-Pakistan conflict. Both countries would be better off if they traded with each other. They're smart people on both sides. They both make stuff that the other side would like to buy. And so Trump sees the solution forward as diffusing this kind of ethnic conflict, territorial grabbing, expropriation, and substituting for that production, manufacture, trade, prosperity. Just a quick note, I'm 64 and I'm going through Medicare now, and it's complicated. Too many people wind up in the wrong plan, paying more than they should. And that's why I trust Chapter. They're independent, they search every plan, they advocate for you, not the insurance companies. They've already saved my audience thousands. Dial pound 250 and say Dinesh to connect with a Chapter advisor today. That's the pound sign 250, keyword Dinesh.